Welcome to the Utah Street Banter Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode here on the Utah Street Banter. I'm Cody. With me, like always, is Elijah. What's up, buddy?
Not much. How are you doing tonight?
Doing good. You know, it's another great week to be an Orioles fan, I think. Last week, we had our ups and downs, but, you know, last night we finished strong, so that's great. But we'll see. We'll see how it keeps going. I mean, today we're obviously going to talk about the milkman, Colton Cowser. Really excited about him. We got some Jackson Holiday news. Corbin Burnes and Grayson's doing their thing. So, so we got some fun things to talk about. We're going to start off like we always do and hits the box scores and some of the recaps from last week and all the way to last night. So let's talk real quick. We got game one at Boston. That was on April 9th. And, we had Corbin on the mound against Boston and seemed to go pretty much like, we'd want it to, I think. The O's won 7-1, right? And then Corbin Burnes pitched that game, obviously, and got the win. Orioles got 13 hits and gave up only 2 hits. Pretty good first game. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it was pretty nice. Burnes looked really good on the mound and continued his trend of giving up first inning home runs and then locking in. Because he gave up first inning just absolute bomb to Tyler O'Neill. Over the monster, broke someone's windshield. Like, I don't know. I feel like he's done that, though, because that's what he did to Trout in opening day. And it's just kind of, you know what? If all he's doing is that, I'm okay with it, though, because he gave up that. And then right after the home run, a single to Tristan Casas, and that was it. He did great after that. Like you said, 7 innings pitched and 2 hits. I mean, you can't really ask for much more. And then after Burnes, you had Coulombe and Webb came in and combined for 2 innings pitched and 4 strikeouts. I mean, you can't ask for much more on a pitching stamp, like from the pitchers. So one run's not bad. And luckily, our bats came out to defend that with Henderson, Rutschman, Cowser, and Mullins all had multi-hit games. And this is what I like to say is the birthplace of the cowman himself, Colton Cowser. He had 4 RBIs, and an RBI double in the second, straight off the monster. That was a bomb. And then he had a 2 RBI double in the fourth, just bringing in runs left and right, a sock fly towards the end of the game. And I don't know, it's just the milkman's here.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was pretty exciting because you kind of see it coming, right? And, we were... I'm sure he's feeling the pressure of just trying to stay in the lineup because, I mean, before this game, he was sort of like that utility outfielder for us. And then this is sort of like the beginning, right? So he comes in and just starts to hit, whereas Austin Hayes and Anthony Santander, they're still, a little bit of, struggling. Game 2, the Orioles go obviously against the Red Sox again. This time it was a little more stressful. It's 5-0 going into the 6th. The Red Sox are winning, and obviously, I mean, it shouldn't surprise you because Cole Irvin's the one that started this game. And if you've listened to this podcast before, you probably know he's probably never going to accept being on our podcast because I just talk trash on him the whole time. But it's just good teams don't, the best teams in the playoffs don't have starters like Cole Irvin, in my opinion. But whatever, you know what, because when you got a lineup like ours that can hit, they come back and they win that game 7-5. They out hit the Red Sox this game 9-8. Very stressful.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not the start of a game you'd want. 5 earned runs in 5 innings from Irvin. I definitely will say is that was not anywhere near a good start, but I feel like the numbers seem actually worse. Watching the game, it kind of felt like he was just almost getting unlucky. He had a lot of unlucky calls. We definitely had a lot of umpires not doing great this week in all of baseball, but also against the Orioles, and I feel like that definitely affected him. But Baumann, Aiken, and Kimbrel did great. The last innings didn't give up any runs. And then it was kind of the story of the bottom 3. Not really much offense happening from the top of the lineup, but Cowser had a 2 RBI single in the game. Holiday, known as the Holiday game, his major league debut, he comes in, doesn't get a hit for a while, but he does ground out, scores a run. It was a crucial run there. And Westburg came in with the massive 7th inning 3-run home run to give the Orioles the lead there.
Yeah, man. Talk about umpires. You see the Angel Hernandez thing?
I feel bad. Look, I don't want to feel bad for Wyatt Langford because one, the Rangers just beat us in the playoffs, and two, he's fighting two of our guys for Rookie of the Year. But I mean, he struck out on 3 balls that would have hit a lefty batter. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, normally you say, hey, the umpire is consistent, but you can't be consistent in the other batter's box.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this podcast right now and you haven't seen the Texas Rangers outfielder Wyatt Langford, his at bat with Angel Hernandez, you have to go and YouTube it because it would have hit a lefty. Yeah, at least 2 out of the 3 of the pitches. Pretty crazy. I mean, come on, MLB, you have to see this.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But staying with the O's, we're going to Game 3 against the Boston Red Sox, and boy, the O's continue their ways of stressful games. You know what I mean? So, in case you missed it, right? The O's win this game 9-4. That means we sweep Boston. But this didn't feel like a sweep here because, I mean, the Red Sox come back, take us all the way to the 10th inning, and just, boy, luckily we came out on top.
Yeah, I'll start here with our pitching because I think it's a little bit less interesting than the batting because a lot more happened. But Rodriguez did really good. He gave up 2 runs in the first inning. I guess him and Burns must be working really well together at just doing bad in the first inning and then completely locked down for the rest of the game because that's what happened again.
Yeah.
Didn't give up another run for the rest of the game. And then really our whole entire bullpen did great. Webb, Cano, Kimbrel, Bauman, they had 3 2/3 innings pitched with 0 earned runs. The only blemish was a Connor Wong pinch hit home run, which we'll get through after we get through all our offense. I have a question about him with you that interesting from a baseball perspective. But yeah, you can't really ask too much more. I mean, 4 runs isn't terrible, but one unearned from Bauman in the 10th. But this is really where it starts to get interesting. Is Cowser did amazing again.
Yep.
Just you can't say anything but moo.
Moo.
He went 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs. He hit his first major league home run, which when I saw that, I was like, really? I feel like he already had done that. But no, it's out of all he played last year and this year, he still hadn't hit one. But don't worry, he caught up real quick to missing out. And don't worry, he also had a 3-run home run in the top of the 10th there. But we had an interesting 8th inning because we had a runner on first, and then it was Jackson Holliday, and Adley Rutschman grounded into what everyone thought was a double play. The broadcast thought it was a double play. I was confused because I didn't know. Kevin Brown wasn't telling us what was going on, so I had no clue. But what happened was David Hamilton, who is the backup shortstop since Trevor Story is injured, he actually missed tagging second base. And then on the very next pitch that was thrown in that game, Santander pulled one. And I will say that's the tail of the Penske pole. It's a home run in 0 stadiums other than Fenway. But we took advantage of the opportunity, and we got the lead there. Obviously, the Connor Wong home run brought us back to tie. But then Holliday came on as the automatic runner in the 10th. Henderson crushed one over the monster, and we got a couple more runners on. Mullins had an RBI single, and then Cowser had that home run. The thing that there's 2 things that interested me about this game mainly, is the fact that you had Isaiah Campbell, who gave up 3 runs in the game that we won before that, the 7-5 game, and then came in and also gave up all the runs that were in the 10th inning here. Because I saw him warming up the bullpen, and I was like, I hope they put him in because we crushed him the other day.
Yep.
And I feel like that was one of the 2 managerial mistakes by Alex Cora in this game. The other one was, you can't say it's a mistake because Connor Wong hit a home run. But you bring Connor Wong in, and that left them 1 player on the bench, which came back to bite them a little bit because Reese McGuire, their starting catcher, ended up getting thrown out of the game for saying some rather not nice things to the umpire, which that was an interesting replay to hear live. But yeah. I don't know. What do you think you should do in that situation when obviously you want to say it worked out, but if they had to go another inning past the 10th inning, they were having pitchers bat?
Yeah. So that was tough. I mean, obviously at first it looks like a genius move, but I think the person that is in the wrong here is Reese McGuire. I think you have to know your team, and I'm sure there's no way he didn't know that there was pretty much nobody left on the bench. You can't get thrown out on a pitch that's a strike. I mean, it has to be like an Angel Hernandez bad pitch, So I think he was more mad that he just struck out, not of the call. Because I mean, if when he goes back and looks at it, and I'm sure he did, it was a strike. I mean, that's not just being an Orioles fan. I mean, it was. Um, but yeah, that's. I mean, you can't get thrown out. That's you're killing your team. You could see Alex Cora, like as he started arguing it, he couldn't get out of the dugout fast enough, screaming at Reese McGuire to shut up.
Yeah.
But he
I mean,
couldn't do it.
I have to imagine that how quickly he got thrown out. Obviously, he said some very not good
Yeah.
things to the umpire. I have to imagine the inning before he was frustrated because I know both the pitcher and him, Kenley Jansen, definitely were acting like they had some calls that should have been strikes that weren't strikes.
Yeah, they weren't
But
strikes. Yeah,
and
saw that too.
I think he had to have been saying some stuff while he was catching, which I feel like that's kind of the aspect of the game that you don't talk about much, is that if you're a catcher, you really can't complain because that's going to screw the whole team over. And obviously, you saw it made Connor Wong had to go into catch, and that their last bench spot was filled. But I mean, it's also why do you have two players on your bench that are hurt? They had
Yeah.
one player that was in a stint, and then I don't know. I know he had some shoulder problems, but Devers, I don't know what was really up with him. He was in like sweatpants and a sweatshirt. You could tell he was not coming into the game.
Mhm.
So it's kind of interesting. I don't know. I love Brandon Hyde. I'll say that.
Yeah. I mean, that was interesting. I mean, another interesting managerial decision, in my opinion, was giving Colton Cowser a 3-0 green light. There's 3 balls, no strikes, green light, and my man hits it deep, a bomb for a home run. And to give a rookie that just a few days ago was a platoon outfielder the green light on 3-0 is bold. That's a bold move.
Yeah.
And thank God he did because it blew the game open.
Yeah.
I mean-
no,
I mean-
because like we had an unearned run from the ghost runner on second in the 10th, and that's why you kind of always want to score, but especially scoring a lot like that. I think you have Hyde seeing how hot Cowser was, and I think he's finally starting to tap into what his potential is. And I'm not going to sit here and say that this is what he's going to be like all season.
Yeah.
Because then if that's the case, he's going into the Hall of Fame. You're not batting almost 500 for an entire season, and you're not going to have the stats that you have. But I think he's finally starting to really get more comfortable. It's interesting to see the way he's been acting lately because if you look at his at-bats and how he's just holding himself, you can tell he knows that he belongs now. He feels that now.
Yeah, I agree. But we're heading into the homestand against the Milwaukee Brewers here now. And right here is when I was wondering if this is when Hyde would turn into the Hyde that we all know and sometimes don't love. And that's having Austin Hayes, take over that Colton Cowser spot because, he's Austin Hayes. And seniority seems to be something that the Orioles do like, which isn't a bad thing. But so I was a little nervous, but guess what, guys? That didn't happen. So Colton Cowser came back, still did well in this game. I'll let Elijah talk about that. But the Orioles did lose to the Brewers 11-1. It was a pretty rough weekend, actually, if you were an O's fan. But I'll be honest, everybody, the Brewers, they're up and coming, man. They're fast. They're one of the best base stealing teams in Major League Baseball. They're fast just like us. They got a lot of young guys just like us. Their pitching is the struggle of that team, just like we were, especially the past 2 years. I just see a lot of the same ways of winning, the same type of team they're trying to create. Reminds me a lot of the Orioles. A lot of guys on that team I do like. I mean, after William Contreras, and there's a dust up in this series too, and then hits another home run. He acts like he just won the World Series. But other than him, I mean, I like a lot of them. Yeah, so like I said, Orioles did lose this game 11-1. This was a throwaway game from the beginning.
Yeah, it was bad all around. I mean, I have that exact sentence in my notes, just bad all around. There's nothing that stood out. Wells gave up 4 runs in 4 innings, which is sad to say. That's actually not terrible because Jonathan Heasley gave up 6 in 2 innings. Dylan Tate did good, didn't give up any in 2 innings, but then Webb gave up another run in the 9th. What did surprise me is Joey Ortiz had a nice little redemption game against his old team. He went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs, triple a single. So it's kind of just seeing how good the Orioles could be too, because we just have all these talent that we had to get rid of. We have nowhere to put them though because you have guys like Jordan Westburg doing great. But I mean, Cowser was really the only good point on the offense. He had a nice home run that he hit around the grounds crew area in right field, and we had 6 hits all game. Like you said, that's just you can't get it done with that. But the one thing I do like to say, kind of to add on to what you were talking about earlier, is how you kind of see their bullpen's definitely better than the rotation. They're speedy, they're funky. They're not going to give up on you. I saw something today that kind of made me think they're kind of starting to remind you of like the 2014, 2015 Royals almost.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
That kind of like they have some veteran pieces in a Yelich, and when Devin Williams gets back, you have those star names, but then you also have the Bryce Terangs and just some Sal Frelick. You have these young guys that are going to come through and impact.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good one. That's a really good point. I mean, you got Yelich, he obviously got hurt. I believe it was after game 1. But you got Rhys Hoskins on that team. Yeah, it's going to be a solid team. I don't think they make the playoffs. I just think that it's still early in the year. But if you do look at, team stats right now, I mean, the Brewers are definitely up there. And I mean, another team that are up there are the Royals. So I was really excited at the beginning of this year when I saw how soft the beginning of our season was. But I'll be honest, these young teams that are supposed to be terrible are doing pretty darn good. I mean, you got the Brewers. They'll end this series, but they were 10-3, so they're doing good. Moving on to game 2, another one. The O's lose 5-11 or 11-5, I should have said. This was a little bit of like a tale of two games, in my opinion. I was not watching this game live at the beginning, and I got all excited because, you keep getting alerts that, we keep scoring. And, of course, it was against our old guy. But pitching again, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of, I feel like, how it always is with us. We either win or lose by our pitching. But, Kramer had really, really 2 good starts to start this year, and then he gave up 6 earned in 4 innings. I mean, Aiken, he went 1.2 innings scoreless. Yohan Ramirez, we just acquired from the Mets. We just traded him for cash considerations. That's one guy you always see getting tossed around, cash considerations. You'll miss him, but
You're stupid.
I'm a real funny person, guys. He's just mean. But yeah, we got Yohan Ramirez. He gave up 2 runs in 1 2/3, and then Bauman gave up a run in 1 2/3. Kind of just nothing great. Gave up 11 runs in back-to-back days. Kind of really bad. But I mean, we started off really hot. Westberg and Mountie, they had 2 home runs to give us 3-0 lead. Henderson had an RBI single, brought in Cowser. Then Adley crushed his first homer of the year, which is a sign of relief for me. I've been kind of waiting. He's the only guy that's power strokes not quite clicked this year, and maybe this will be the beginning. But it was a really rough game overall. Poor DL Hall, we tore him up a little bit, but we just couldn't do anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I did feel for DL Hall, home reunion, and he got blown up for, he pitched 3 in a piece of an inning, gave up 5 earned, 3 home runs. What a rough day. But his team still pulled it out, so it still sucks. But one thing I will say before we get to the final game of the series is, the Brewers obviously have DL Hall, and we just traded him, and they also have Joey Ortiz, who they're kind of platooning around right now. And I keep looking, and we got Corbin Burns, so I feel like that's a win. I just like I know in the future, I get it, but like we're not, we're looking at the next 3 years, really.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm very happy with what we did.
Yeah, I know DL Hall, he is going to be a good high leverage reliever. That's all he's going to be, though. He's not going to be a starter. There's no way by the end of the year he doesn't finish in the Brewers bullpen. I think it's just they kind of are doing this to him because they don't have 5 starters.
Right.
And then Ortiz, you definitely could see, you saw flashes of greatness with him. I mean, he just doesn't have the potential to be a Westberg or Henderson or something. He definitely could be. I could be 100% wrong, but I really doubt it. I think you're going to see him peak. I think a perfect way to put it is his peak's going to be around those late 2010s Jonathan Scope with the Orioles.
Okay. I mean, that'd be a good player though. I mean,
Yeah, no, still a really good player. He'll last for a while, and because his specialty is going to be defense. He's going to be a really good defensive shortstop, or third base or second base, wherever you put him. Play anywhere. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on to Game 3. This is Sunday's game. A couple days ago, the Orioles, obviously against the Brewers, their final game of the series. This is really putting our consecutive series not being swept in jeopardy. I was at this game, and it was, oh my gosh, stressful. Really a fun game to watch if like you don't care who wins, but obviously I did. Very first pitch of the game or second pitch of the game, whatever it was. It was the first or second pitch of the game. I'm probably eating a hot dog, just trying to get settled in my seat, and Corbin Burnes gives up a moonshot to William Contreras. This is when I was saying how I think this is like he forgot that he could hit a home run because he looked shocked as he ran around the bases that he hit a home run against Burnes, and I mean it took about 27 minutes for him to get around the bases. So whatever. Corbin Burnes strikes him out the next 2 times he comes up to bat, so that was fine. But yeah, so like I said, it was one of those things where, unlike the other days, this day pitching just did enough to keep them down, because the Orioles bats just erupted.
Yeah. No, I mean Burnes, like you said, he definitely had his worst start of the year. 2 earned runs in 5 innings. Let
I
that
know,
sink
I
in.
know.
No. And I know he gave up one unearned run that I feel like that's the one exception that should count as an earned run for a pitcher because he's the error that the run scored on, and that's completely on him. He waved off Rutschman to grab the ball on like a short little bunt to try to throw it to first, and it was just nowhere near first. But yeah, don't worry. He raised his ERA to just an abysmal 2.28. Isn't that terrible? That's a Cy Young right there. That's all I'm saying. Like, if this is his worst, what's going to happen when it's mid-July and he's in his mid-season form, giving up 1 home run a game in the first inning, throwing 7 innings pitched? Because I'll be surprised if he has like more than 1 start in a row without giving up a home run the first, because I don't think he's possible. But, he's been doing great. And then we had a nice day from Ryan O'Hearn. He had a nice RBI single and a home run. Mullins had a bomb onto the flat court. Gunnar had an RBI single. Adley Rutschman had a double play, but still brought in a run. Just kind of everything. But I know some people are going to care more about this than I do. Holiday got his first major league hit. It's a big deal. I get it. It's a big milestone for a player. But I don't know. I hope he gets over this hump with it. I hope it gets him started. I know tonight's game against the Twins, he didn't do great, but we'll see if he can do something with it. He ended up scoring, had some good base running, and he's a good player. So I have faith that he'll do better.
Yeah, it's definitely stressful a little bit. Obviously, I'm sure we're stressed more than he is, just because we want him to do great. Like, we want the best for him and for our team. I don't really. Some of the swings and misses, I mean, the strikeouts are definitely alarming. So that's kind of where I'm at with him. I am also I'm not jumping off this bandwagon yet. You know what I mean? So I'm hanging on with him because I know how good he will be. I also remember if we had this podcast last year, we might have been talking about how we probably think Gunnar Henderson should be sent down. Thank God they didn't do that. I mean, even Rutschman, he helped the team win when he came up by being a great mentor and well, not a mentor, but a leader. He didn't hit that great. Westbrook had 3 home runs all of last season. I think he has 3 now, or 3 or 4. So, it's one of these things where let's just let the kid breathe. He's batting in the 9-hole. He's getting one less at bat pretty much than everybody else, because of that 9-hole spot. Which he deserves it. He deserves to be in the 9-hole. So I'm not arguing that. So let's just relax, everybody. He's 20 years old, and I keep telling myself this while I'm watching the Orioles, this isn't our only shot. You know what I mean? Like, we got years, so that's where I'm excited for. I'm excited for our future, not just this year. And every time we have a bad game and I want the most unoptimistic version of myself to come out, I just keep telling myself that next year we're going to be excited. The year after that, we're going to be excited. The year after that, we're going to be excited because we're always going to have a shot now.
Yeah.
This isn't
And,
just a one-time thing.
and the even better part is you got to think next year we'll have more prospects and we'll have the mountain.
Yes. Yeah, well, Bautista will be back. Let me harp on a few things on this game because I was there, got to see it in person. This is my third game I've been to this year in person. So a couple of things. I'm going to be a Debbie Downer real fast. So one thing that kind of peeved me as a baseball player, coach, whatever, myself. So ground ball, Anthony Santander, we had the stinking catcher on I'm sorry, I lied. Pop fly to Anthony Santander with William Contreras was on second base, the catcher. Okay. Pop fly, I'd say mid right field. They tagged up. William Contreras tags up and goes to third without a throw. What are you doing? Like, how are you not throwing out the catcher? My man is like solid 240 pounds running third base. I don't get it. I'm just sitting here going, what kind of lazy? It almost was like lazy, but I guess my thought is if he can't make that throw, why is he in the outfield? You know what I mean? I mean, he's batting a 180. You know, so we keep dissing on Urias and we keep dissing on Austin Hayes. Santander hit a ball 314 feet, home run in Fenway or whatever it was. He can't make a throw, apparently, to third base. Apparently, that's too far for him. I love Tony Taters. He's one of my favorite players on the Orioles. I was just, that was one of my pet peeves, and I was ticked off just watching it. Okay. So, the other one, the air throw by Burns, that was pretty crazy. That wasn't even close. You saw it happening. Pretty much, I'm not taking the error and taking it away from Burns, but Holliday forgot that he was supposed to be at first base. Holliday was not at first base when Burns threw the ball. Obviously, Burns' only job is to get the ball thrown to first. Your professional second baseman is supposed to be there. So hopefully that gets cleaned up a little bit. Secondly is Burns apparently cannot hold a base runner. When I wrote that, I also did not know until I looked at the statistics while I was at the game after I wrote that the Brewers are the top stealing team in Major League Baseball right now. So, okay. Give me one more thing. Okay, one more thing before you yell at me. Okay. Lastly, I just don't feel like it's going to happen at some point, but the mentality is different on the team right now. And I don't think it's like the best thing. It's almost like some games they feel like are just going to be given to them. I just see their mentality, the way they do things. Colton Cowser doesn't have that mentality right now, though. You know what I mean? It's like some of the young guys I feel like they think they're further ahead than what they are. I don't know. I'm probably wrong. I'm probably looking into it wrong. I get it. The Orioles win this game. It's a happy day. They win 6-4. I was just okay. If I'm going to go on good things real quick, all right. My good things, because I'm going to flip the switch here, is I was talking crap on Craig Kimbrell pretty much the whole time. My man's been solid. He came in this game, struck out 3 people. You know what I mean? Cano did good. He gave up that one hit or one earned run. But I don't know, man. I was just getting so ticked off watching this game from the mentality of it, not from the actual game itself. But yeah. Well, you got anything to try to cheer me up or?
No, I mean it's kind of. I do agree. It's like you need to play the game, but you also have to play the game inside of the game. And I feel like the Orioles aren't winning at the game inside of the game.
Yeah,
I don't know, and like I definitely agree. There's some like watching Henderson, and I know this is probably unfair of me to say about him, but when he strikes out, it kind of reminds me of Chris Davis striking out.
Yeah, where he's just like, oh well.
He's like, okay, throw my helmet down, throw off my gear. Someone's gonna bring me my glove. Like,
yeah, right.
And I just, and like you said, like Cowser, it's like he's got the fight in him and he's ready. And I don't know if it's fair to say, but this team sometimes feels like they don't have that fight in them. And it may just be that we were so spoiled last year with such a perfect storm of things that's what we got accustomed to. And that's just not realistic for a full 162. But then also, why are we showing the fight in the 8th inning and 9th inning? Why can't we do it the whole game?
Right. Yeah. And it's like, I guess the other argument is, am I comparing Rutschman to Henderson? You know what I mean? Like, that's two totally different people. You know
Yeah.
that. And I'm watching Rutschman, and my man is like, if you have a kid right now, you want watch Rutschman. That's who you want to be right there.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Henderson's a jerk. I'm not. That I promise. I'm just saying, like, I look at Rutschman, and you kind of get accustomed to that type of player.
Yeah.
And I'll also put that same type of player. Like, I'm talking crap on Anthony Santander, but he sort of has that Rutschman vibe. Like, he
Yeah.
cares. You know what I mean? He's sort of, I'll put you under my wing type, and I love that. So like I said, I don't want to get too down. I really don't. I tell you one thing though. I went to the second game of the year, and then I went to a game where it was pretty rainy. Um, yesterday, yeah, right. Sunday's crowd, there was 35,085 people there. That was nuts. Like, Camden Yards came alive over the weekend, and I love seeing that. I mean, each day there was 30,000 plus fans there. Love seeing Camden Yards, packed out. They had the left field upper bleachers open, which that you don't see that happen very often. Against the Milwaukee Brewers of all teams. So, I mean, and when the Red Sox and Yankees and, some of our rivals come into town, I hope that same thing happens. But it just was so much fun to be there. The crowd was crazy. It was fun. So obviously we'll move on. I won't get too much into that. That was my concerns while I was there. Like I said, I'm super hyped for the team. I'm not jumping off any bandwagon or anything. I'm not, trying to diss anything. I'm just here to tell you my concerns, right? So anyway, last night we got to play somebody different other than the stinking Red Sox and Brewers. The Minnesota Twins come into town, and it seemed like we just we bullied them. I mean, for Minnesota Twins kind of came into a fight they weren't prepared for, because they're like, what the crap, guys? I mean, very first inning, Cedric Mullins comes up with the craziest diving catch you ever see.
Probably catch of the year.
Absolutely. If this was the NBA, he'd be the number one play on ESPN Sports Center.
Yeah.
But obviously it's not NBA or NFL. So I mean, I don't think they know baseball is played.
No,
but
they don't.
now,
Unless it's me,
Yeah, unless it's you. Right?
Just to let all our viewers know, I was number one play on Sports Center.
He was. So
you don't have to tell the specifics. You don't have to tell them the specifics. I was there.
Absolutely was on the video. Absolutely.
Was I the pitcher that almost gave up a home run, but my center fielder made the best catch I've ever witnessed in my life? Yes.
Absolutely. It wasn't.
Did he partially tear his UCL doing it? Yes.
But did he catch it?
Yeah, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. Yeah. Yeah, he was done for the year.
We lost the game, but
Hey, he caught the ball. Yeah, nobody cares about that. But yeah, so the Minnesota Twins come in, and wow. So this was another one of, obviously, Cody's favorite pitching matchups for the Orioles. And we put the legendary Cole Irvin back on that mound. Swervin' Irvin. And yeah, I'll let you go ahead and talk about this, because I'll just sit back.
I don't know. There wasn't much. I mean, he gave up 2 runs in the second inning. Should have probably gave up more in the first inning, but kind of got saved by Mullins there. I don't know. It's just he was showing us in spring training more than what we're getting. I had higher hopes. I kind of expected Wells to do what he's doing right now. I kind of expected Irvin to do slightly better, but he pitched 4 2/3 because he came in to relieve him. That's just he gave up a single there to end in the 5th inning to take him out. I don't know. Kind of to me, it almost seemed like the plan wasn't to have him go very long anyway. And as soon as he got to any sign of trouble in that 5th inning, he was done.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. Irvin, hopefully you can be better. That's really all it is.
Yeah, I mean, you made a good point off air earlier that you kind of assumed that maybe they're using Irvin more as like a bullpen type game where, try to, as long as everybody's healthy and you got some off days, you can kind of let him try to get you through the lineup twice maybe, right? Yeah. And then kind of move on from him. I think you're right. I think because right after Irvin, you have Tate come in for an inning and a piece. Aiken comes in and gets an out after giving up 2 runs.
You forgot about that point.
Yeah. No, I just try to skip it. Cano comes in and pitches an inning and 2/3, and then Kimbrel comes in and with a save, strikes out 2 out of the 3. But yeah, so it's one of those things where if they do that, I guess I'm okay with it because I can hate on Cole Irvin all I want, but you can also go, Cody, what's your other options? And you're right. Unless they thought that Cade Povich was worth bringing up, but obviously they don't think that.
He's been doing really good.
Yeah, but I think the reason why they're not going to pull up a prospect right now is we got Kyle Bradish. He starts tomorrow night. Kyle Bradish starts tonight for the Bowie Bay Sox as his first rehab game. And Rob Kabako, the Orioles beat writer, has put out that he feels great. Bullpens went great. They're really excited about starting this out. And then, we have John Means. He's made a few starts. We might talk about that a little later. But anyway, so, I think that's why you don't, because you wouldn't want to bring up Cade Povich, him come up, do amazing, and then have a real awkward conversation with somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're already getting rid of probably Cole Irvin's probably going to go somewhere like bullpen or something. Tyler Wells is probably going to, I'll be honest, man, Tyler Wells may be your closer or might be your setup man.
Yeah.
Come the end of the season. So,
yeah.
We'll see. I mean, that might be the biggest reason why. But this game was pretty fun to watch, in my opinion, just because I don't care if games are close or not. I just want the Orioles to win. And for a while there, it was 7-2. Didn't really feel like much. 7th inning, obviously, Aiken comes in and gives up 2 runs, kind of does his normal thing.
Yeah, he just wanted to make it more interesting.
Yeah.
I will say that's the first runs he's allowed all year.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I still have the Aiken in my brain from...
You still have 2022, 2023 Aikens.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, you're right, though. You're right. So it's one of those things where Aiken and Bauman, in my opinion, and they're 2 guys that are like wild cards, because if you can get at least one of them 2 to be, good, like real good, that really changes our whole bullpen. You know what I mean? So, and Coulombe, though, in my opinion, he has my respect because, I'd say 7 out of 10 times he does amazing.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where we'll see. Our bullpen is still terrifies me, but I'd be honest, if you look at a lot of Major League Baseball's bullpens right now, they all kind of, if I was their, unless I'm the Dodgers, obviously, the Dodgers just have like the Greek gods in their bullpen. So
yeah, I mean, but no, I definitely think our bullpen has done okay. I think Cano's been what I've expected. Kimbrel's been better than expected. Coulombe has been locked all season basically. So and that's what kind of was last season. You need to have your couple lockdown guys that you can rely on, and then a couple guys that can be okay. And as long as you can get a Bauman just to reliably not give up runs every time he comes out, you'll be fine.
You're not wrong. And I was listening to an interview with Ben McDonald the other day. He was talking to Mad Dog Russo, Chris Russo, on MLB Network Radio, and he just yells all the time. But you could tell, obviously, don't get me wrong, Chris Russo does ESPN, he does all the sports, so there's not a chance he ever watches an Orioles game. And but if you don't look at statistics for the Orioles bullpen, they don't look like much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Ben McDonald started hitting him with boom, boom, boom of stats, and he's like making me go, okay, all right, I need to keep my mouth shut about the Orioles bullpen because obviously they're doing well. And we're pretty much bringing back the same guys we had last year, except for the best piece was Bautista's hurt. But so on
that note, is I'm just putting it out there, the Guardians are probably going to be selling at the end of the year, and Clase's contract's up after next year. So you could maybe see a Connor Norby and like McDermott or something traded for 2 years of Clase.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be terrible.
No, God, can you imagine him and Bautista?
Yeah, best bullpen in baseball there.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm kind of tired of talking about these games. I want to talk about the Milkman, Cody.
Yeah, I agree, man. He's arrived, dude.
Yeah. So this is just so everyone is aware. I have the stats before Monday's game because I put this all together before that game. And I mean, he didn't do great that game, just to preface. So all the stats and stuff are going to be slightly worse. But Before then, he had 34 at-bats, 15 hits, 4 home runs, which is tied for the lead with the Orioles, 13 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. That's already looking pretty good. Well, then you see that he's slashing. He has a 441 batting average, a 474 on-base percentage, and a 971 slug. It's just his stats are incredible. He has a 316 OPS, OPS plus, which for those of you that don't know what OPS plus is, it's 100 is the baseline, and it's how much your OPS is better than the average MLB player. His OPS is 316 times better than the average MLB player. just decent, you know. He doesn't have enough plate appearances to qualify for the leaderboards and all the stats because I don't know how they picked it, but you have to have 3.1 at bats per team game, and he's about 10 or 15 PAs below that. But if he had enough, you know, he'd lead the league in OPS batting average, OPS plus, and slug, and he'd be 6th in OBP.
Jeez.
And currently, doesn't matter how many plate appearances he has, he is in 7th in the MLB with offensive WAR with 1.1. Yeah, let me sink that in. Everybody on that list that's above him has over 50 plate appearances, over 50 at bats. Sorry, Cowser has 34. Mookie Betts leads MLB in B WAR with 1.5. He has 70 at bats. That is double Cowser's, and if Cowser doubled what he's done so far, he would be over Mookie. So what I'm trying to say is he is the best player in baseball right now. Like based by stats and the eye test and everything that he's done. He is the best player in baseball, which is why, of course, he was named AL Player of the Week. But it's insane. Moo. That's all I can really say. Just moo.
Man, yeah, he's been amazing. Looking here, like he's in pretty much the tops of most statistics in the rookie categories. He has 4 home runs. The only person in front of him is Michael Busch, the first baseman for the Chicago Cubs. The difference is about 12. Michael Busch has 12 more at bats than Colton Cowser. Colton Cowser also does lead all rookies right now in RBIs with 13. Like I said, he only has 38 at bats, so not a ton. Just pretty amazing. I mean, I'm excited for him. He's batting a 395 right now. Wow, what a kid! What a kid! Super excited for him.
Doing great. And then speaking of kids, we might as well move on to a highly anticipated debut that we saw this past week. And it's probably not as good as we wanted it, but Holiday got his debut, got an RBI, didn't get any hits, and he's been struggling. Got his first hit in the last game against Milwaukee, but I kind of talked about it earlier slightly. I think he needs to get over that hump, and maybe he's going to do better. He didn't do great on Monday, but we'll see.
Yeah, he's batting a .053 right now. He's had 19 at-bats. He has 1 hit, 1 RBI. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah. So I think that the only thing that really makes me not nervous, just concerned, is the strikeouts. He's batted 19 times. He struck out 10. So, and man, there's some of them, man. He's just way off. I just didn't see any games like that when in AAA. And I get you're gonna say that that's AAA, but if you would have seen some of the bullpens that he's been facing, I mean, I don't know if that's very far away from AAA.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's just nerves. If that's what I would chalk it up to. He kind of just seems scared at the plate, almost like I watched a at-bat against the Twins, and it was a 2-0 count, and it was a fastball kind of inside, but pretty much down the middle. And he does his leg kicking swings, and he doesn't pull the trigger. And I think that's because you're scared. I think you're nervous, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'd be scared if I was making my first. I mean, let's put for perspective. I am a freshman in college, and he is less than 2 years older than me.
Right.
Like just like he is 20 years old. He is very young, and it's gonna take time. But I think you got to kind of trust the process. If he gets sent down, he gets sent down. I don't think anything should be too worried though.
Yeah, I think it's going to take a lot more. I think he's going to need 20 strikeouts before he gets sent down. The Orioles gave him, number 7. He gave him a top tier number, and I just think he has a huge leash. The one good thing about this is when you watch him up to bat and he strikes out, guess who's coming up next? Gunnar Henderson.
Gunnar.
So it's like it makes you forget about him real quick. You know what I mean? He'll strike out, Gunnar Henderson hits a double or whatever, home run like he did last night. It really makes you forget about it. And also, our lineup's pretty deep, but we didn't send down Kemp for, 10 strikeouts out of 19 at bats. But like I said, this is another one of the things where I'm like, this isn't for right now. Like this, let's Holiday. He can do whatever he needs to do. So after the All-Star break, he's ready to go. You know what I mean? Like use this as his warm-ups, get him going. He's gonna be good. Don't give up on him. I really do feel that. I totally understand everybody's concerns. I totally understand, as long as you understand my concerns. I mean, my concerns are legit, but I mean, I'm not saying that he's not going to be amazing. We could easily do our podcast next week and be a totally different conversation.
100%.
And you're not gonna post on Facebook or any social media that the Utah Street Banter was so wrong and said Holiday was trash, because that's not true.
Now, the only thing that you're allowed to post and take from this episode is go back to when we were making some predictions preseason, and Elisha Jones said at first that Jackson Holiday probably wouldn't be the most impactful rookie. And who did I mention with that? Colton Cowser.
Yeah, I mean,
someone was right.
That was a pretty good one. And another post that you did that I was impressed with was, I'm pretty sure you broke the news that Tony Kemp was getting sent down, because that was before. That was before it happened.
I don't think I really broke the news. I just predicted the news.
Yeah.
Which I mean, if like
poor Tony Kemp,
some other Raku, anybody that's a reporter would like to reach out to me, I'll give my statement.
Yeah.
Maybe I have insider information. I don't know.
Right.
Like every Instagram or Facebook post, I'll start just saying per sources.
Right.
No one ever knows what the sources are. If I'm wrong, I'll just say the sources told me wrong. Those would be my predictions.
Yeah, I mean, poor Tony Kemp, if his parents saw that before, or whoever, his family members saw that before him, they're like, what the crap? So it was like right after you posted that, then it became news. But yeah, so like I said, I think he'll be fine. Just give him time. I also think there's a couple other people that we need to give time. I think we need to give Austin Hayes a little bit of time. Don't ride the ship on him. Austin Hayes did a lot for the Orioles why we were terrible. So don't freak out when today if he gets in over Colton Cowser, because Colton Cowser just had a 4-strikeout game. And they're going to give Colton Cowser a break because my man's been playing a ton. And if that happens, that happens. Austin Hayes did go 0 for today. He also did hit a ball, I think it was 112 miles an hour to the third baseman, or 108, something like that. So it's just not finding a hole right now. So, but like I said, I don't want to dive too deep on this. I just want to calm Orioles fans down. We're in second place right now. Still doing well. So, yeah.
I mean, the Yankees aren't going to stay this good forever. Let's be honest. Everyone knows how it is. Someone's going to get hurt and they're going to completely fall apart. They're not built to be this good. They're good, but you can't keep relying on Luis Gil or whoever else they've been filling in starts with. They still only have 4 starters.
Right. So, I mean, we'll see. It is impressive what they're doing without Garen Cole.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, Rodon's a series pitcher, and so's Nestor. I mean, they have good series pitchers.
Yeah,
and their offense is potent, but I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. But we're not going to talk. We're not here to talk about the Orioles. So,
we're
we're
not here to talk about the Orioles.
Well, we're not here to talk about the Yankees. Right?
Yeah.
So it's all good.
It's all good. Called the Yankee Street Banter.
No, not at all. Well, we just want to thank everybody for jumping on the pod with us today. And please be sure to follow all of our social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and X, and we're under the Utah Street Banter name. I'm Cody. This is Elijah, and we definitely hope we see you next week. Make sure you like and follow our podcast. Also, give us a 5-star rating, please, to help other people hear about us. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Yep, thank you. Bye.